What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 17 of the Foundation First Fitness Show with Bobak Owen. Today, I want to help you guys get through your next vacation and really help you guys kind of enjoy that, and approach this from a fitness standpoint. One of the things that I think is really interesting and that I've noticed is that a lot of us go onto these vacations where we have to do a lot of walking. Now, I recently came back from a very short stint a couple of months ago. Actually, it wasn't recently, but a couple of months ago, came back from a short stint in New York City where I did a tremendous amount of walking. And if I had not had been prepared the way I was for it, if it wasn't for my preparation, I would have been in a lot of trouble with the amount of mileage that I was doing each day. And obviously, for those of you who have been to New York, you're going to be doing a fair share of walking, especially if you're going around the Central Park area. If you're going to be doing a lot of walking through the city, Manhattan, it's not exactly what we're used to or what we're accustomed to here in Montreal. We do take the metro. We are very big time walkers, but if you are from a city where you do a lot more driving, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a shock when you do throw in that extreme amount of walking. Now, many of you will be visiting areas that, you're going to be going out to more touristic areas where you are going to be doing a lot of walking. If you go to Italy, France, all these areas, European cities, South American cities where you might be doing a little bit more walking, those are going to be where you're going to be noticing a lot more stress and tension, especially in the legs, the calves. Some of you who have already gone on these vacations, you've definitely felt this and you've definitely been aware of this. And there's a couple of things we can do to kind of remedy that situation. But the reason I think it's so important is that we really have to consider that, we've spent a lot of money on this vacation, getting it kind of planned out. There's a lot of preparation that went into it, hopefully. There is a lot that kind of goes on in that time frame, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that throughout that entire time frame we're not wasting a lot of our money because we can't enjoy the vacation, because we can't really walk, or we can't do any of the sightseeing, or we end up going on vacation. We're trying to go there to relax. We're trying to go there to get away, and we end up coming back with tendonitis, shin splints, plantar fasciitis, all these different things that kind of come up with excessive walking and excessive movement that's kind of done over a very short period of time. And there is a couple of things we can do, and it really revolves around what to do, what you're going to be bringing with you, and how to use it and how to prepare for it. So the first thing is what you want to bring with you. Now, there is a couple of things we can do. The first is you want to make sure that the shoes you're bringing are, kind of walking ready shoes. So, a lot of us will think, we want to go on vacation. We want to bring shoes that are going to be comfortable, but at the same time, we want to bring something that's going to look nice. And you really want to be prepared for both occasions. Now, I would very much consider both occasions and say, all right, what part of the day am I going to be doing the majority of my walking? And what part of the day am I going to be doing a little bit more sitting around, dinner, that sort of stuff that isn't going to be as strenuous on my feet and is not going to be that kind of detrimental to my kind of day where I'm going to be sore the whole day or sore the following days, and I'm going to end up not wanting to do as much sightseeing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is when you do get that new shoe, you want to make sure that it is a shoe that you can wear for a long period of time. Now, a lot of us will think like, we're just going to get a more comfortable walking shoe. And you really want to go for something that is a little bit more supportive, that has an ability to be able to withstand a lot of punishment. Now, a lot of these walking shoes are designed, to walk a bit, but maybe not walk to that extent, especially if you go away for a 2-week period. You'd be surprised how much mileage you can actually accumulate in that very small window. So I would tell you that if you can invest in a nice pair of shoes that's going to allow you to kind of put them through a lot of punishment, definitely do that. The next thing you're going to want to do, thing number 2, is you're going to want to have something like a soft tissue kind of tool. Now, I usually recommend a lacrosse ball. The reason I recommend a lacrosse ball or a baseball is simply because it is so small, so light. It really, it stows away pretty easily. You can carry it with you anywhere. You can bring it in your backpack if you are doing a lot of walking. If ever you do need it, you stop for a couple of minutes, you need some rest, you just grab it, drop it under that foot, start rolling out the foot. When you're back in your hotel room or wherever you're staying, you can use this on the calf. You can use this around the lower leg area. You can use this around the hip area, release some of the areas of the hip. So it is a pretty versatile tool. Not very heavy, not very costly at all, and very practical in terms of transportation. You don't really need much space for this, which is so good, which is really probably one of the biggest reasons I push so many of you or so many people that I talk to that are going on vacation to get one of these, because it really is a game changer. Soft tissue work is probably going to be the biggest thing that's going to help you enjoy that vacation to a much greater extent, because you're not going to be dealing with all that soft tissue work or soft tissue injuries like the tendonitis, the overuse stuff that could kind of come about during a vacation that's going to be predominantly walking based. So from there, the next thing I would tell you is simply just, stay hydrated. Guys, water is a huge thing. A lot of us really don't consider water a lot. We generally do if we go into a hotter area and we just think, let's just hydrate, because we are thirsty and we just feel like we're thirsty. So we're just going to drink a lot of water. But I think we underestimate the impact that water is going to have on us and being hydrated. And the reason it's such a huge factor is that many of us are not coming from the same climate that we're going to. If you are coming from a drier area like California and you're going to a more humid area like Europe and Italy and stuff like that, where there's going to be a little bit more humidity, where it's going to be a little bit hotter in terms of that, because of that humidity, it's going to change the temperature, the humidity level is going to change, and that can affect your hydration level. Likewise, if you do the reverse and you come from an area that's a little bit more humid, Montreal is a pretty humid area, especially during the summer. It gets very humid here. You go to a drier area like California, now you're going to be dealing with significant amounts of dehydration issues, especially if you're spending a lot of time outside walking. It's very, very dry. You spend a lot of time walking. You don't get you don't get the same amount of hydration that you would just from the air as you would in Montreal. So you want to make sure that you are bringing enough water with you. The other thing is that if you are walking, you are expending a lot more water, because you are basically doing more exercise throughout your day. And if you're not used to it and you're not used to that amount of exercise, water is going to be a huge thing for you in terms of recovering. In terms of being able to just kind of get through the day, you're going to want water with you. It's definitely going to be one of those things that can really make or break your day. In fact, a little thing on water is that if you aren't hydrated, you could actually feel significantly more fatigued. So you may not even want to get up the next day. You feel a little bit hungover. That's generally where a lot of that hangover feeling comes from, is that lack of hydration, that being dehydrated is going to make you feel very fatigued. And when we are on a trip, when we have done a lot of walking, when we're in a new climate, hydration is something that can really sneak up on you. So you want to make sure that you're considering water as a really important piece of your entire traveling kit. And notice today I never really went into the jackets and the clothing and all and all these little gadgets. It was very much performance or training and health based. I was trying to stick to that kind of area. Obviously, if you go to a hot place where there's a lot of sun, wear suntan lotion. I think that goes without saying. But in terms of the physical preparation stuff, shoes, soft tissue work, water, those are the ones that I would definitely recommend that I don't see as many people using. Now, shoes are a big one, and I did touch on that, but there is another component that kind of comes along with shoes. I know that a lot of individuals get a pair of shoes and it'll be like, perfect, I got my shoes, I'm ready to go on vacation, and they don't really put them on until they're on vacation. And that could be a huge issue, because the thing about shoes that's really important is that shoes take time to mold to your foot. And you almost want the shoe, especially if it's going to be something that you're going to be doing that much walking in, you almost want it to become part of your body. So you want to break that shoe in quite a bit before you go on that vacation. And you're going to want to do that by, occasionally getting out, getting some walks in, Wearing it around the house if you can without getting it, before you walk outside. You want to kind of walk around with it around the house. You're getting some mileage in on it, but not enough that's going to be, causing you a little bit of pain because your foot's not in a nice, comfortable position, but gradually just breaking that shoe in so that when you do get on vacation, the shoe has kind of been broken in to some extent and you are going to be in a better position for that. The other thing I would tell you to do is potentially consider some soft tissue work beforehand. Now, while it's great to just go there and have something that's going to kind of remedy the situations, like I mentioned in an earlier episode, you want to treat soft tissue work like a vitamin and not like a medicine. And the reason you want to do that is because the more we treat our foam rolling like a vitamin the more we do that, the more likely we are to kind of reap the benefits of doing it on a regular basis. Now, those benefits are very obvious. You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to be a lot looser. You're going to have broken apart some scar tissue. And the benefits of that are really going to be seen when you are on vacation because you won't be dealing with, as much of a severe pain that could come from that mileage you're going to be putting your body through. So I would definitely tell you to maybe get a little bit of work done beforehand so that you're kind of, increasing your body's tolerance and your forgiveness for all that punishment you're going to be going through. So it's a lot of these things, as I mentioned, are kind of precautionary things or kind of tools that you're going to be able to use that come from my realm, from the fitness realm, that you can carry with you into that kind of traveling and, the trip area side of things, the vacation side of things. And I think they're very beneficial. I use them pretty often myself. I do take them very seriously. I do. When I was in New York, actually, I don't know if I mentioned that I did use this. I brought this with me, and every day before we went out, I would use it. And then when I came back, I would definitely use it as well. And I would kind of work through the calves, work through the feet. I definitely focused on a lot of hydration, was drinking a lot of water when I was down there. And shoes, obviously, I've basically used a pair of shoes that I use in my regular day, which consists of a lot of steps. I take about 20,000 steps a day. So the shoes are pretty kind of worn in. So I was able to kind of handle it, but I could definitely feel even to that extent, I think each day I was walking about 30 to 40 kilometers. I'm trying to do the quick math and convert that into miles. I don't know, 24 or something. I don't know. Maybe that's right. It's probably not. What is it? 24? 24? Could be 24. Jeez, my math is horrible. 30? 30. No, sorry. 30 kilometers would be about 20 miles, 19 to 20 miles. So that 19 to 20 miles that I was doing per day was actually still taking its toll on me. When I got back, I was still kind of feeling it, even though I did do a significant amount of walking. Now, one of the things I would mention, and I just realized I completely forgot to mention this, was when you do get on that, or when you do go on that trip, one of the things you want to remember is that if you are going to Europe, if you're in North America going to Europe, or if you are driving to get to your destination, if you're a little bit closer, you might be spending a little bit more time than you usually would sitting down in the plane, in the car. And doing that actually has a little bit of a detrimental effect, especially when it's not a position we spend more than 30 to 45 minutes for the majority of you in. We do spend our time seated, but sitting on a plane and sitting in a car are not the same thing. There's a slightly different hip angle. And so exposing ourselves to that for an extended period of time does change the way our back feels. So I would recommend that when you do get off the plane or when you do get out of the car, if you can get to the hotel and get yourself checked in, if you do arrive on a check-in time, you do have that ability to get in. I would tell you that one of the things you want to do is spend a little bit of time taking this ball, working out that hip area. So getting into the glute area, getting some of those deeper glute muscles, and you can check out some of some of my clips on Instagram, I do mention some of those things in there that you can use. Some of those, the piriformis one is a big one. Putting those in will definitely help relieve some of that back soreness. And then also, stretching out the hip flexors as well is going to help kind of release some of that stress that was kind of pent up over that entire flight or drive. So if you guys have any questions about anything I've said, feel free to just kind of, leave a comment or reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram. You guys can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm trying to get into Twitter now, so definitely I might be throwing that into my arsenal of social media accounts. I'm still trying to figure that out a bit. I kind of fell away from Twitter. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter. If you are, let me know. Follow me so I can follow you guys back. And let's get some conversations going about some of the stuff I speak about. I think that's going to be a pretty cool place to get some conversations going. Definitely subscribe if you are watching this on YouTube. I'd really appreciate that. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, please leave me a review. No one's done it yet, so I'm still waiting for my first review. So if you listen to this first review, waiting for it, I'd love to hear what you guys really think about it. And I really hope you guys are getting something from this podcast, from this show, definitely from this episode. And yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you guys. I look forward to the next one. So until the next time, guys, as usual, keep building that foundation.